when you're going out to combat, right? You're going out. You don't know if you're going to come back, right? What?
I was pretty sure I was coming back.
Oh, you were?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's been a bunch of times where, you figure, well, you're looking death in the face.
Mm.
And I remember saying to myself several times, it's probably not going to hurt that much.
Wow.
Yep. Just like that. But I am looking across at another guy and
Mm.
I could see him saying the same thing without even saying it, without even verbalizing it. I know he's saying the same thing. It's probably not going to hurt that much. And if you have that mindset, it's like, no big deal. But I've never thought to myself, well, you're going overseas somewhere to some, poopy place, and
Mm.
whew, you might not come back. No, no, no,
Wow.
never anything like
Yeah.
that. But the thing is, I worked with a bunch of very mature professional special ops soldiers.
Mm. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. It's like a
I, I,
brotherhood, right?
I never, like was um, a 19-year-old infantryman with very little training getting deployed to like Afghanistan or something like that, with very little background or experience behind him. So I was never in that boat.
Mm.
Because when I came into SF initially, it was peacetime army. It was 80s. I mean, then I went right into doing a bunch of Cold War stuff, which was really cool.
Mm.
But it wasn't like combat.
Mm. I see. I see.
Mhm.
Well, I don't know if you're allowed to say this or, if you want to talk about it. What was the toughest operation that you guys had, would you say? Or
Well,
what
you guys or me? I mean, because when you
what,
say what you
uh,
guys had,
when you
uh,
like you well, yeah, let's
yeah.
you. Yeah.
Um, yeah, you know what? None of them for me were really tough because I didn't spend a lot of time and I didn't deploy a lot during the global war and terror.
Mm.
So I guess the hardest one was just hard pill to swallow. The first time I went over to Iraq, for example, the guys there that I was working with have already deployed 3 times because I
Mm.
was in the schoolhouse at my unit. So they had already deployed like 3 times. So they had hundreds of hits behind them.
Wow.
So the hardest thing was me, outranking them, but as an E9 deploying and working as in a E6 slot,
Mm.
which was pretty neat. But it wasn't hard. It was just uh I felt like I was behind the power curve because all these guys had this experience. And even though I had tenure and I had um experience and rank, they had the experience on the ground,
Mm.
so I was behind the power curve. So it was a little unnerving, getting thrown right into the mix with guys who had already a lot of experience on the ground on this particular front.
Mm.
Uh, and, I just didn't want to goof things up for them.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, none of it for me was really hard because I never had. I mean, I did a lot of very cool operations, but never any. Uh, I was never involved in any of the big like gun battles and stuff that people write books about.
Mm. Mm.
My operations were snatch and grab and things like that. So it wasn't
Mm.
that hard.
That's
And,
crazy.
and like I said before, too, you're a product of your training. We
Yeah.
try to make training harder than combat.
Mm.
In special ops, you want training to suck way more than combat. So when you get there, it's like, no big deal. We got a job to do now. Let's just do this. Let's just do this job.